Lexus is the RC's performance born from refinement. And sure, the exterior may tell the same tale. It's a driving sensation and feedback you get from the car that'll tell you exactly how refined the car really is. See, in previous years, Lexus's focus on performance complemented both its elegant blend of interior comfort and its functional yet aggressively designed exterior. There's no intrusive marketing team telling the engineers and designers what to focus on, but rather as a team of dedicated individuals focused on achieving one single goal: to create the best possible driving car. I like to think that FN Lexus's cars mean something more than just performance vehicle development. I like to think it stands for, or at least stood for, activating all 5 of our senses. Because it's cars like the Lexus LFA that prove to us that Lexus knows the recipe for creating a masterpiece of a car. It's just a matter of ignoring what everybody else is doing and letting the engineers do what they do best. Which leads us to this: the 2020 Lexus RC 350 F Sport. Sure, it isn't a true F car, but this car should offer us a glimpse into what Lexus's priorities are as a brand moving forward. And starting off the front, it definitely entails a lot of road presence. The swooping lines and aggressive edges all orchestrate a beautiful symphony of a front end that looks like it was redesigned by a student of Picasso. The front headlights alone are so simplistic, yet elegant. The grille looks like it was 3D cut by the hands of someone who isn't me, because I probably would have made him look like BMW grills. Come around to the B-pillar and look at how these 2 lines flow beautifully from the windshield all the way down to the front, each creating 2 completely separate crevices that each serve their own function in tying this beautiful front end together. I love how Lexus is doing something out of the box with this one and offering something unique in the market. So well done on the redesign, Lexus. The back of the car also went under the knife, and wow does it look better. The rear arches are more uniformly integrated into the rear design, and the taillights look a lot less busy, and the rear vents don't have the fake silly design on them anymore. Even the side profile was revamped to match the beauty of the front and back with an aggressive body integrated side skirt that makes this car look even more sculpted. The whole thing just looks a lot cleaner, and that's exactly the point of a refresh. Everything apart from one thing has impressed me this far, and let me get into why. The reason I don't like the side profile of the car has to do with the rake. Rake is a term used to refer to the angle of which a car sits. If the car has positive rake, it sits like this. If the car has negative rake, it sits like that. Ugly, isn't it? I'm not too sure as to why they did this other than for ground clearance purposes, but it just makes the car look weird and have an ugly wheel gap, especially when it's accelerating. A set of aftermarket coilovers or springs would do the trick, but it's just annoying that you have to pay $300 plus to get the car sitting how it should have came from the factory. Apart from that though, the car does look very sculpted from the side. If they were going for something with enormous road presence, they definitely killed it with this. Sure, the exterior may be a pleasant thing to look at, but the interior is where you'll be spending most of your time. Lexus did a fantastic job of incorporating high quality materials all throughout the cabin, giving this interior a nice upscale feel. It's honestly very unique and very nice, but it's more of a traditional layout and it's starting to feel a little too last generation. Don't get me wrong, it's very functional. With all these new manufacturers coming out these well-designed interiors with well-incorporated buttons and ambient lighting going everywhere, it's hard to go from sitting in one of those to sitting in this. Especially considering how uniquely designed the exterior is, I was just expecting more inside. The infotainment system is hard to use, the start and stop button's in the wrong place, the center layout looks too dated, the back seats are practically useless, and there's a massive all-wheel drive bump in the footwell. Yes, I do admit the LFA dash does look amazing and the seats are extremely comfortable, but I just wish there was more done inside to make the driver feel more special. But let's go back to Lexus's claim of performance born from refinement and what it actually suggests in terms of driving dynamics. See, the act of refining something means to remove the impurities and imperfections in order to make that something better. In terms of performance, this means tweaking things like the transmission or the engine even. In terms of luxury, this means adding sound deadening and softer suspension for better comfort, quietness, and ride quality. In order to have one, you sacrifice the other. So which one did Lexus put more emphasis on? Let's start off in the luxury aspect of things, and immediately you can tell they did an amazing job. These seats are extremely cozy and they offer plenty of back support, so long road trips are a breeze. They hug you in place and make you feel like you're sitting in a glove that's molded perfectly to your body. Moving on to quietness and noise. Yeah, there's not a lot of it. They did a fantastic job of isolating the cabin from the road, so you can barely hear a thing in here. In terms of ride quality, the double wishbone suspension in the front soaks up bumps like they're nothing, so you can go over any imperfection on the road without ever having to worry about breaking your rear end or not. There are 5 different driving modes that each serve their own functions. Normal, which provides an optimal balance between fuel efficiency and performance. Eco, moderates throttle response and engine power, so you give the best fuel efficiency possible. Sport and Sport Plus give you the most performance-oriented setting, and then there's Custom, which lets you combine driving profiles for a more personalized response. In Normal, the car feels amazing. It glides along the road like a cloud floating through the sky. It cuts through the air in almost seamless fashion with no drama whatsoever. In Sport, the adaptive suspension does firm up, but it provides a nice feel for the road when you want to do some spirited driving. We'll leave it in Normal for now, but wow am I impressed by the refinement done by Lexus in the luxury department. It's a really amazing daily cruiser. The RC's lack of flaws on the comfort side of things indicate a promising upside in which this car has grown a reputation for. Lexus gave this car a sense of ease that allows drivers to just get in and go without feeling intimidated. But there's just one problem with that. This badge right here. This badge should mean something more than ease and comfort. This badge should mean you're getting into something that makes you feel a lot more alive. And with an already established focus on luxury refinement, the question remains, does it really make you feel more alive? Well, not exactly. See, Lexus's focus with this car wasn't really on performance, but more geared towards comfort and overall easiness to drive the car. Let me show you what I mean. See, in a car that's focused on performance, the engineers know that the drivers will want to drive in manual sometimes when they're driving fast. So theoretically, if I'm in first gear and I want to rev the car to its red line, it shouldn't automatically shift because it knows I'm in control and I'm driving in the manual mode. But watch this. See, it shifts by itself. And that's exactly the point. This car wants to do everything it can to keep you safe. And we all know safe and fun don't go in the same sentence together. One big problem this car faces has to do with its weight. There's just too much of it and there's not enough done to hide that weight. See, a BMW 430i in comparison is around the same weight, but there's a lot more done to hide the weight in that car, so it's way more fun to drive fast. Whereas in this car, I feel like I'm second guessing a bit too much. Will I brake in time? Is there enough space to hit the gap? Can I go around a bend without letting go of the gas? I think it does the simple things right, like overtaking on the highway or maybe going around a bend at a moderate speed, but it just doesn't inspire you to do those things faster. On top of that, the steering just isn't sharp enough, the transmission doesn't have enough gear, so the gearing ratios are awful, the suspension is too soft so it doesn't handle the weight properly, and because of the weight, the brakes wear out faster than you can say, I should have bought an RCF. But that's all before you realize what this car really is. This is a really good car. Now, don't get me wrong, it isn't a good performance car, but it's a really good car. By that I mean it has literally every quality a car needs in order to be good. It's safe, it's somewhat fast, it's somewhat affordable, it's reliable, it's capacious, it's attractive, and above all, it's comfortable. This is a car for someone who doesn't prioritize speed or having fun on daily commutes, but rather someone who just needs something comfortable, attractive, and reliable. And I can say hands down, this is one of the most attractive cars in its class, and it's plenty fast for what you need it for as well. Because be honest guys, how many of you are racing someone every single morning? That's right, because 90% of you aren't. So to answer my previous question, no. The performance of this car isn't really born from refinement, but rather limited by it. Because I know Lexus can make a good sports car. I've seen Lexus make a good sports car. But I don't think it's worth it at the expense of all the other things that they do right. Because what Lexus lacks in performance, they make up in comfort. So if your priorities aren't straight line speed and setting lap records, then I highly recommend you go test drive a 2020 Lexus RC 350 F Sport.